resuming from Thursday night when it was postponed due to rain. We're in the middle of the third inning. The Perth Heat lead your Canberra Cavalry by a score of 2-0, which means your Cavalry will be batting first. This is a 9-inning game, and this evening's second game of the day, third game of the series, will be a 7-inning game.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to MIT Ballpark in Canberra, where, as you may have just heard on that public address announcement, we're just about set for a resumption of this game. And I don't know if we've ever had a resumption of a game in Canberra from a rain delay in the ABL. I've racked my brains trying to remember if we've had one. We may well have done, and it's just slipped my mind. I probably could have done the actual research, but I can't recall one. So a very rare event in certainly in Canberra baseball circles, and indeed in the ABL. We haven't had a lot of games that have been stopped and restarted again. My name is Chris Coleman. Alongside me, Warwick Petheridge. Warwick, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Chris. I must say, not used to coming into games halfway through either.
Well, yeah, because you weren't here on Thursday, yeah.
No, I was not.
So we'll see how we go. For people who weren't with us on Thursday night, the situation is fairly simple. The game picks up from where it left off, which was with Canberra trailing 2-0 to the Perth Heat in the middle of the third inning. So we'll pick it up from there, and completely different conditions. As far as I'm aware, now bear in mind the clubs don't actually have to notify us of changes until they come into effect, but as far as I'm aware, the only change is that Steve Kent won't be pitching for Canberra this afternoon. He was pitched 3 innings on Thursday night. It will be Jason Lott picking up as the pitcher for the Cavalry. I believe John Anderson will continue as the pitcher for the Heat.
Well, we won't know until he walks out onto that mound, Chris.
That is exactly right. We are a little bit in the dark as to where it's all going to go over the next couple of hours. This game will play out to the scheduled 9 innings, longer if it goes to extras, obviously. But otherwise, we'll be expecting a 9-inning game here, so another 6.5 innings of baseball on offer this afternoon. And then at 7 o'clock local time, so in basically 3 hours' time, we will head into Game 3 of the series, which will be a 7-inning game. So Game 3 has now been shortened from 9 innings to 7 innings due to the extra baseball being played this afternoon. I think that all makes sense. I hope it all makes sense. If it doesn't, stick with us here over the next couple of hours as we get through this one, and then we can start to talk about, hopefully, finals computations and permutations, because once this game's completed, Canberra will have played 2 games, everyone will have played 2 games, I think, of their weekend, and we'll have a good idea as to where things are in relation to seedings. Well, or not.
Well, exactly, Chris, but so far I think there's 16 or 17 different combinations. I think you're jumping upside down, hanging upside down, trying to catch lightning with one hand, and you're on the wind in the other. But it is John Anderson back on the mound for the Heat. I've just had a look.
So no change from Perth as far as we have been made aware. So the defence for the Perth Heat with John Anderson on the mound. Alex Howe at catcher. It certainly looks like him there. That looks like Sam Kennelly. Gray, Cosma at short. Glenn Denning is over at third, and in the outfield will be Bojarski, Chester and Tim Kennelly. So that is the Perth Heat lineup for Canberra. Who's going to get the lead off here?
Cam Warner, and he's standing in the I can see Cam Warner
there
down there.
Cam Warner has yet to bat in this game, the only player yet to bat in this game. So he'll be starting things off, and then it'll be Fran Soso and David Candler. So we are in the bottom of the third. Sounds really weird saying that for the first pitch of the day. In the bottom of the third, and it is Perth leading by 2-0 here at MIT Ballpark. Plenty of people wandering in, and I think by the latter stages of this game, it's going to be a very, very full house here tonight with another game still to come. Plenty of baseball action here in the nation's capital. And, of course, plenty of impact on the postseason as things stand. Canberra, well, 21-15, Perth 22-14 win-loss records prior to this game. But, of course, last night's game counts in there as well. Warner takes the first pitch that he sees and drills it straight to Tim Kennelly in right field, and 1 down for the Cavs. Gee, if it goes like that this afternoon, we'll be here done in about 15 minutes, was?
Unbelievable. Cam Warner, first pitch, just lasers it straight to Tim Kennelly.
Got a nice piece of it, just...
That was beautiful. Just didn't get down enough in time, but we head back to the top of the Canberra lineup here in the... I've just got to keep reminding myself, in the bottom of the third.
Yes.
Michael Francoso. The man of everything at the moment. Batting average well above 400. He steps in.
Yeah, all the numbers are a little bit fluid here at the moment because, strictly speaking, the numbers that we have for the players are their numbers prior to yesterday's game, if that makes sense. Francoso, 0-1. Oh, this is gone. That's a monstrous hit to right field. It's holding up on the breeze, though. Geez, that breeze, I didn't realise how strong it is blowing straight into the direction that Francoso's hit that from just right at the batter's eye. Did you see it get up there to altitude and then just fall off the cliff, was?
It really did. I thought maybe he had enough on it, but then it's got up, as you said, Chris, perfectly above the batter's eye, and it's just held its spot, and that, in the end, was quite easy catch for centre fielder Carl Chester.
Chester was heading out.
Oh, he was looking at it like, how am I going to get to this? But then David Candless, he steps in. Swings at the first one. But arguably, in the last 4 series, there hasn't been anybody better with the wood than David Candless. Peaking at the right time of the season.
So he's got an 0-1 and low and away for a 1-1 pitch from John Anderson. Questions being asked, why is Steve not pitching again? I think it's just the whole Cavalry looking at what the situation is going to be, bearing in mind that they've qualified for the Wednesday game. Candless swings through at high and outside pitch for strike 2. And I think at this stage it's really a case of very much players are going to be pitching into situations now. Canberra, the odds of them finishing any better than the 5th seed are pretty slim. So it'll now be having to reserve players for Wednesday and potentially backing up on the weekend. Candless fly ball, foul territory, first base side. Sam Kennelly comes across but can't get to it, and the ball goes into the wide open spaces, Deer Stake Gully. So that's the question in there. So I would be very surprised if it wasn't Steve Kent pitching the wildcard game on Wednesday night, but it may all change depending on results elsewhere as this evening unfolds. And of course, final game of the regular season will now be played tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Local time. 1 and 2 to Candless, high, and that's 2 and 2. So
Chris,
that's where we're at.
If I know, and I'm got no knowledge, I haven't spoken to anyone in management, I haven't spoken to anyone around the park, but is there anyone else that you want pitching that wildcard game right now other than Steve Kent? He is on absolute fire. He's still in line to take the loss in this game, but long way to go. Candless rips one over the head of the second baseman, drops into centre field for a base hit.
And you must look at David Candless here and think back 6 weeks ago, he looks a completely different player.
Well, I think you said it best at the time, Chris. Class always prevails. It wasn't like Candless was striking out, or he was making good contact. He was just finding the fielders, and that's the way the luck sometimes goes. But now, he's like an oldie station. The hits just keep on coming.
So with a single to centre field, David Candless gets yet another hit. Average of 263-ish. I think that's what we'll just sort of go with, generic sort of averages. But that's what it was coming into this game on Thursday night when it started. Now Craig Massey. Here's a man who hit his first home run for the season for the Canberra Cavalry last week up at Holloway Field in Brisbane. Has 39 hits coming into Thursday night with a 287 batting average. First pitch was high and inside for ball 1. Anderson works the fastball again. It's on the inside. And Alex Howe almost turning himself sideways as he takes those ones on the inside. It's almost like he's trying to say to the umpire, no, it's actually over the plate. You see how he sort of turns a little bit as he takes them? Mm-hmm. It's an interesting way of framing your pitches, really throwing the body into how he's doing it. The last 2 he's done that with, 2-0. And that's low from Anderson.
But yeah. Chris, if you're in a one-game elimination, you throw your best.
You throw your best, absolutely. You throw your best. You put all your power hitters in. Was it Milwaukee who pioneered that and said, well, we might forego a few errors in the field, but we'll more than make up for it with the power hitting. nearly worked for him. 3-0. Make that 3-1 as Anderson works fastball low and inside. He's thrown a lot of fastballs this afternoon.
Well, I don't know what his pitch count is from Friday night, Thursday night, but you know, less than 48 hours later to have to come and back up. Probably just trying to re-establish, get the arm moving.
Foul ball, third base side. But well hit from Wilson, by the way.
But so far, there's about 17 different scenarios of what could happen, especially the Tuatara taking 2 big wins over the Aces last night.
Who would have seen that coming?
The Auckland Tuatara. They would have seen.
Well, true. Full count on the batter, 2 out, 1 out. Sorry, 2 out, 1 on. What has Massey got? Massey has put a line drive into left centre. Oh, great diving catch. Well done by Bojarski. Was running across probably on a 45-degree angle in from where he was in left field. Dived forward and got the glove onto it and managed to take the catch and wrap up the little bit of danger there that had ensued from David Candelas getting with a single 2-7. But on a fly 9, fly 8 and fly 7, the Cavalry dismissed across the course of the bottom of the third.
And you are indeed correct, Jason Lott. See him on the mound right now.
So we'll be able to give you a pitching line for Steve Kent while Jason Lott's warming up, because Steve Kent out of the game. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 4 across 3 innings. Gave up the 1 home run. All up through 55 pitches. So realistically, might have been able to throw, say, another 50 today. But again, you've got to start looking ahead. Do you want a guy throwing 55 Thursday night, 50 on a Saturday, and then having to bounce back on a Wednesday night game?
Well, exactly, Chris. And at the same time, gives guys in this Canberra bullpen, especially doubleheader today. The early mail is potentially a starter in the second game that hasn't started a game all season as well. That's the early news we're hearing here at MIT Ballpark. For guys to put their hand up and take the reins and say to manager Keith Ward, I want to be considered, you know, if needed, to pitch in that wild card game. So basically they're auditioning for spots.
So Kent finishing off their pitching line for him was 55 pitches thrown, 36 strikes, 1 ground out and 4 flyouts. So we'll have a look at where that leaves him by way of stats on the strikeout count. I think it means he'll fall just short of the ABL strikeout title for the season.
I don't think he'll mind.
I don't think he'll care if it means taking the side deep into the postseason. I don't
not
think
at
he'll
all
care 1 iota. Tristan Gray
takes well, you and I'd call it a Yorker right at the toes of Tristan Gray from Jason Lott. Bounced off the plate, high and into the back net. Ball 1.
Gray, monster home run over the right field fence on Thursday night. Lott, considerable improvement on direction on the second pitch. Maybe a little high, but it's on the outside edge of the zone. Well covered by Robbie Perkins and 1-1. And that's pretty close. That's a very nice ball. A little bit of late drop. Just falling off at the end and getting away for a breaking ball. 1-2. And hard hit. Grounder. Massey picks it up at second. Across to Wilson at first. And the 4-3 play is completed. I don't know if this is still the case, but I think as of last week, or prior to last week, I don't know whether, I just can't remember the numbers from last week, Lott had, certainly at home, he had not given up a hit off a breaking ball.
Doing very well, the young man, taking his opportunities when he can. Today's a big one. 6 innings still to go in this game. Robbie Glendenning hits the first pitch he sees straight to Cam Warner on the hop. He fires over to Zach Wilson at first. And all of a sudden, 5 pitches in, it's 2 down for the Perth Heat.
Game is going at a clip. So thank you for joining us, and apologies that no video available this afternoon, but budgets being what they are. As we see Carl Chester, right-hander, take the first pitch on the inside, but it catches the zone, 0-1. Tomorrow's game potentially being the most important one. Hard hit grounder. Warner takes it on the second bounce, and it'll be another 5-3 play. Gee, this game's not giving us time to breathe at the moment. But yeah, we'll have video of tomorrow's game. I keep saying tomorrow afternoon's game. Of course, it's an 11 o'clock start in the morning.
So it's 11 on the East Coast.
8 o'clock.
8 a.m. You can have it while you're having your breakfast on the West Coast.
There's baseball and Wheaties.
Oh, Chris, no. No.
It will be. For some people, I'm sure.
Isn't it Wheat Bix in this country?
Oh, depends if you have the flakes, don't you?
Oh.
Wheaties are flakes? I don't know. Breakfast and your protein smoothie. How about that?
No, that's worse.
No?
Go back to the Wheaties, my man. Does this body look like it has a protein smoothie?
Mate, your body looks like a temple. A temple that's been invaded by the Vandals and the Visigoths. It's the bottom of the fourth coming up, and for the Canberra Cavalry, it will be Zach Wilson, Michael Krause, and Robbie Perkins.
Wilson, of course, tied for the ABL home run lead after TJ Bennett smacked another one last night for Brisbane. Tied the tally. Michael Krause. What an addition this man's been in the last couple of weeks since he's come into the team.
He's a man who was very, very keen to return to the Canberra Cavalry. Had a half a season with Melbourne last year, but I know he'd been in touch with the club about coming back here this season. The decision was made to come back after Christmas, and then I know prior to Christmas there were emails and text messages, and he got in touch with me as well, saying how much he wished he was down here earlier. So really very much a soft spot for the Canberra Cavalry in the heart of this man, Michael Krause. Of course, played in the Asia Series winning squad back in 2013, and I reckon if you played in a tournament like that and got a win like that, it really would give you a soft spot for the club that you did it with. Let's move to the bottom of the fourth. And it is Zach Wilson.
Saw a very interesting article about Zach Wilson the other day in a local publication here about his tattoo collection.
Each one means something, which is probably a good thing.
Well, that's a very good thing, but especially buying his first tattoo with his scholarship money.
Well, yeah, don't know if that's quite what scholarship money is intended for. High and outside. Oh, a late call from the umpire.
Beautiful pitch. Caught the corner there by Anderson.
The call was late, though.
Oh, taking his time, making sure he's got it right. Umpire Trent Thomas. He knows it.
It's not Trent, that's Riley. They've swapped him around.
Ooh.
Foul ball.
I wonder, did they have to notify the change?
Now, that's, yeah.
No, I'm just playing, Chris.
I need to actually work out who's where now, because I wasn't aware of that. Hang on, that's definitely Riley Barrington. There.
All right. Well, you want to read about that? It's quickly 0-2 to Wilson. He fouled the second one off. That's outside. Ball one.
I think it's Nash up the first base line. Is it Pearson? I'll have to check that. Anyway,
1-2 to Wilson.
Umpires have changed from Thursday night, so disregard what it says. They can't change that mid-game on the setting. Hard hit from Wilson.
Pete Cosma picks it up and just easy as you like. 2011 World Series champion with the St. Louis Cardinals. Out here.
How many major league shortstops have we seen at this ballpark this season? We've seen Cosma.
Gifton Gope.
And Gope, yeah.
Who just signed a spring training invitation with the Phillies.
Good to see him giving him another crack. Oh, no, it was the Pirates he was with before, wasn't it? Wasn't the
Pirates and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Anderson delivers. Krause bunts.
Oh, he'll beat this.
He has literally dropped that on a dime and legged it out.
As soon as he got contact on that, he was moving. Krause 0 to 100 in 2.7 seconds, and he beats out the throw. And I just wonder, again, as we said before, the Cavs, barring some odd results, most likely to be in the 4th v 5th wildcard game. I'm just wondering whether we're going to see a few different tactics or a few changes in routine here, just to try a few different things and see how they work.
Exactly.
It's one thing to do them at training. It's another to actually use them in a game setting. Robbie Perkins, foul ball, third base side. It's one thing to think them up and to try them out, but it's another thing to actually give them a go in a game setting and see if they work, and give your future opponents something to think about.
Exactly, Chris. But with the way the North East Division is, it's going to be very hard for Canberra to catch either Sydney or Brisbane and keep us in that third spot. So might as well try it now, so you know what you've got coming into the wild card game. As it's 0-1 on Robbie Perkins. Anderson looks over at Krause. Don't think too seriously. He just rolled the arm over, tested the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's low, ball one. Be interested to ask John Anderson tomorrow morning, Chris, if we can get here early enough and find him. What's it like to come out 2 days later and keep going on a start that you were two innings through?
Just how early do you want to get here tomorrow morning?
Why don't we just stay here? We've got a nice air-conditioned commentary box.
Actually, but I thought it would be cooler here than in most houses in Canberra tonight. 1-1.
2-1.
I think that may have actually been the attempted breaking ball from Anderson.
I think it was attempted, yes. It attempted.
Yeah, I say attempted because I don't think it broke much.
And it's still very warm here in Canberra. But yeah, we could go down and get a couple of sleeping bags. 2-1. Robbie Perkins batting 226. Still. Krause goes. Anderson picks, fires to Cosma.
Krause has given himself up. You don't often see a runner walk cricket style there before the umpire makes the decision, but I reckon Krause was 20 feet down the line walking towards the dugout before the umpire's hand had come up.
Well, he's seen the right foot of Anderson come up, thinks he's pitching, and he's broken. Anderson's thrown to Kennelly at first and then thrown it just easy as you like to Cosma. Perkins is still at bat here. He fouls one away to the screen. Count is 2-2.
So caught stealing 1 to 3 to 6.
Look, we've seen some weird stuff here this year, Chris.
Oh, haven't we just? I'll just put that one on the list. Can almost do a top 10 bizarre plays.
Nothing still beats for me Michael Campbell gunning out Krause at third from 9 to 5 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I don't know. I still think Craig Massey hitting into the 1 to 6 to 3 to 2 to 5 double plays pretty good.
That was good too. Full count. Anderson delivers.
Oh!
Line drive right off Anderson.
Well, that's hurt.
That was right off either the side or the arm. Robbie Perkins has just hit a straight comebacker right at about waist height of Anderson, and he had no time to get out of the way.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the binoculars out here and see. Eventually he's going to rub somewhere. I know it's the old thing. You don't ever want to go and rub it and say that hurt. I can tell you that he's just said words to the effect of, gosh, that hurt. May not have said, gosh. I may be paraphrasing, but I'm just keeping
Funnily
an eye
enough,
on
that hurt. There you go.
Yeah, that's possibly close to it as well. Now,
it'll be interesting to see. The training staff is here, and they're going to have a conversation quickly. No.
And I tell you what, he's taken that full-blooded somewhere on the... I thought it was actually closer to the knee, but again, it may have been the arm getting down to block it, or he may have been bent over.
Somewhere near his hip region. I wasn't sure if it hit the hip or... Oh, here we go. I'd say it's...
He has not rubbed anywhere.
It's somewhere near the leg vicinity because they're giving him a couple of warm-up pitches just to see if he can do it.
I reckon it got him. I reckon it got him on just above the knee. What I'm looking for, I'm just trying to see if there's actually a mark on his strides.
Chris Gulman, he's coming in hot with the scoop. He'll be off running down to the Perth dugout in a minute.
Well, the problem is we don't have cameras here today, so
apologies for that.
Have to rely on what we've got, which is a good pair of binoculars.
Well, he comes back with a strike against Cole Perkins.
Yeah, there's no marks there, so but he's all right.
Oh, he's like an RSL state, Chris. He's tough. 0-1 to Perkins. Robbie at first. Foul tipped off the inside of umpire Riley Barrington's leg. Kyle Perkins had a big home run last night.
Actually hit it into the scoreboard.
Into the scoreboard.
It hit the scoreboard and bounced back into the field of play.
Huh.
Now, that's obviously a home run because the scoreboard's outside the home run fence, but for just a moment there was a little confusion because the ball was back in the field of play.
0-2. Misses outside. 1 and 2.
But as best we could pick it up, it hit almost equidistant between the words home and away on the scoreboard.
Still a good hit.
And I've never seen one hit that scoreboard.
It's a pretty big scoreboard too here at MIT Ballpark. 1 and 2 the count to Kyle Perkins. He's outside again, and Anderson, he's trying for that pitch. It might have been working the other night, 2 nights ago. I don't know. I wasn't here to see it, Chris Coleman, but it's not working for him today.
It was a pretty ordinary night all round the other night. We got a thunder delay or a lightning delay. We were off. We were back on. Then the rain started, and then it got biblical, and there was someone building an ark in the car park.
As that one's low and outside, ball 3. I heard about that. He was using all the broken bats that they've acquired from this ballpark over the years.
Exactly.
For the
but by the time play was called off, he was able to sail off with all the animals 2 by 2 by 2. Full count and 2 outs.
Anderson set. Robbie Perkins, he's the man at first. Anderson shakes him off. Didn't like the call that he got. Wants to just get back on the same page with Alex Howe. Full count, here we go. Perkins goes, Perkins walks. So 2 out. 2 out. The designated hitter / bullpen extraordinaire pitcher, Madison Youngana. I'll tell you what though, his sock game is on point, Chris. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, he had him on last night as well. He's got another pair today.
He steps in. Anderson throws high.
Yeah, not bad when you can hire a guy who comes out as a pitcher with major league experience, and you can use him as a designated hitter with a 273 AAA batting average.
That's pretty handy to have. 1 and 0. Called strike. 1 and 1.
But you're saying you're going to say about his socks.
Oh, they're absolutely beautiful, as you can tell. They are not ABL socks. They are San Francisco Giant socks. They've got the MLB logo on the back of them, where he spent some time. Anderson delivers. Youngana hits it straight up the middle to the second baseman, who fires over and retires him. Leaves both runners on. So still, after 4, it is still 2-0 to the Perth Heat, Chris Coleman.
It is indeed, and Canberra have been through 9 batters in the 2 half innings that they've had since play resumed here. For Perth, it'll be Alex Hall, Sam Kennelly and Ulrich Bojarski to come through. Fabulous Phil over in Adelaide's been doing some of the calculations, and if you've got the chat window open on our YouTube service, you'll see them there. But basically the Southwest title, Perth have it all in their own hands at this point. If they keep winning, Melbourne can't catch them, because Auckland beat Melbourne twice yesterday. So that could give Perth the Southwest Divisional title.
Exactly, and how important was that to these proceedings that the Tuatara are winning both games yesterday in Melbourne? I believe double-header today, Chris, in Melbourne as well.
That's right, and we'll keep you posted on those scores. See if we've got anything around the grounds. We are only a couple of minutes away from baseball starting in Adelaide, between Sydney and Adelaide. They have a double-header as well. Melbourne and Auckland. Yeah, for some reason they're coming up as Central Time, as Darwin time, so I've got no idea what that means in the rest of the universe. But
well, Brisbane are still on it. They've got a double-header today as well, and they're only a game behind Sydney, so...
And Brisbane have only got the 1 game today.
Oh, is it only 1 today?
Only 1 today, according to
my apologies, I thought it was
live
double
scoreboard. But yeah, Canberra relying on sides to sides above them to lose. Brisbane to lose, or...
Well, then we need Adelaide to beat Melbourne and Geelong Korea to win at least 1 more.
Yeah.
Jason Lott back out on the hill. He throws high ball 1 to Alex Hall, the catcher.
All struck out in his first at-bat in this game. That was Thursday night, struck out swinging.
Well, he hasn't struck out this time. He's launched one deep to right centre field. David Candler's with his glove up in the sun. About 2/3 of the way out to the warning track. He takes it. It's going to be difficult for those outfielders out there, Chris, but at this point of the broadcast, say hello to our good friends Paul Morgan and Dan Vaughan. They were here last year when we did the big commentary swap.
Absolutely. I bet Dan Vaughan's listening from deep in the heart of Texas. And I know Morgs will be on board over in the West, and Simon Isons as well over in the West. Great to have you on board, fellas. And
wish you were here.
One day we'll all get together and we'll run 5 microphones on a coverage and just go absolutely berserk.
Sam Kennelly, he takes a called strike 1 from Jason Lott. Lott. He is not mucking around.
I tell you, I'm impressed by what he's thrown so far today. Looking really good, Jason Lott. We've seen him a little up and down.
I've just been impressed by him at every opportunity he's had, Chris. The young man is doing very well. 0-2, the count to Kennelly. Breaking pitch hits straight, once again, straight to Cam Warner at third. Over to Wilson for the 5-3 out.
If I had a breaking pitch like that, I'd throw nothing else. In fact, I wouldn't even, even on days off, I wouldn't bother going to the office. I'd just go to the backyard and I'd just throw a breaking pitch like that all day if I had one like that. That is just a thing of beauty.
Well, that's the since the resumption of play, it is the 3rd out that Cam Warner has registered on the 5-3 play out of 5 batters.
How many of those off breaking pitches?
Well, I think they were all.
I was going to say, my recollection is that he's got a great difference. That's the fastball that stays high.
Popped up. Wilson is underneath it. Massey coming, but the fence is going to beat them both.
They've both gone into the fence.
Oh, well, you've got to give him props for committing, Chris. It's 0-1.
This is the best I think we've seen from Lott so far this season. This has been a really top start from him here. Top start in resumption terms. I've just checked a quick official count of his first 12 pitches, 10 strikes.
It's very good. Lott with the breaking pitch, but this time Boyarski just lines it straight back up the middle to centre field on Michael Krause. Base hit for Perth.
And of course, I mentioned earlier that he hasn't given up a hit off the breaking pitch here at this ballpark this season, and he goes and gives one up.
The Coleman curse is real, people.
Commentary curses, they do exist. I know that there are some people who don't believe in them, but they do exist.
So 2 down here, top of the 5th. Boyarski's the runner at first. Tim Kennelly in the box. Lott has thrown a high fastball and Kennelly's got around on that and ripped it somewhere near the freeway. Foul. Strike 1.
How good is Tim Kennelly?
He's timeless. Absolutely timeless. Still remember him hitting the home run against the Diamondbacks at the SCG. And he has hit one high. Perkins underneath it out in left field. Retires the side. So once again, base runner on, but no runs.
And just the model of consistency. He had an injury up to 12-13 season and didn't play a lot in the 15-16 season. So let's take those shortened seasons out. Here's his average season by season. 245, 374, 303, 255, 271, 323, 338, and this year, coming into this weekend, 340.
I don't know.
Not much else you can say.
There isn't really much you can say.
Well, actually, there is something else you can say. He's a really nice bloke, and that's the problem. When he plays for a team that's not your own and he's a really nice bloke and he's that good, it makes it so hard.
I just find it funny, Chris, because, you know, being up here in the commentary for you and you've been here a long time and I'm new to the facilities, but the guys, you know, we're Canberra Cavalry people, we've got the polos on, but when you see the guys from the other teams and, you know, walking in here today and you know, you see the Perth Heat guys and they're like, oh, hey guys, good luck, good call. You know, even a couple of weeks ago, Jack Murphy, in his half an hour of rest, in between 16 innings of catching,
signing a couple of baseballs for you.
You know, put up with my babbling for 10 minutes. So, for Canberra leading off, we're back to where it started today. Cam Warner, the number 9 hitter. he comes in and steps in the box. He liked the first pitch he saw today and literally just lays it straight at Tim Kennelly in right field. Solid contact from Warner, just couldn't get it down or up enough. Anderson again. Inside. Ah.
2-0 for Warner.
He's hit that straight to the second baseman, Gray. He's just gone a little bit to his right. Flies it over to Kennelly at first for the 4-3. Apologies for the dropout. And sorry, Dr. Miraculous, Warwick didn't roll on a cable. He's not allowed anywhere near the cables. I learnt that lesson last year.
He tries.
Oh, I'm happy all the way over here in the corner. Francoso back in. On one. A distinct yellow grip that he likes. That's low and outside. Ball one. At the same time, Chris Coleman, after we take this pitch, Francoso squibs it foul. If, according to Phil's calculations, if Perth manage to stay and the score stays the same and they win this game, what do they do for the next 2 games? They've won. They know they host.
I think they've got to keep winning. I think they still have to keep winning.
But do they get into a situation where they might try some untested guys out of the pen? As Anderson delivers, and that one's low, 2-2. So if you're just joining us, it is the bottom of the 5th as we pick up action from Thursday night. The score is still 2-0 to the Perth Heat. 1 out. Francoso has just ripped that straight at Sam Kennelly. He's missed the very low hot catch chance, but he's kept it in front and stepped on the bag for the out.
Well, that's composure for you.
If you can't catch it, keep it in front of you.
Baseball fundamentals, my friend. Baseball fundamentals. That is a very long foul, strike one by David Canless. Anderson, he just works from the stretch. Doesn't do the full wind-up. Stretch pitches all the way. He delivers to Canless. That's low, ball one. You don't see a lot of pitches in this league. Just to answer Shane's question, you don't see a lot of pitches in this league use the full wind-up. Anderson again. And then you get some guys who mix it up.
Some do, but the majority that I've seen this season, there's not many that. A lot of them, like Anderson, from the stretch. Canless has hit one straight back at Anderson. He has literally backheeled that off his boot straight to the catcher, Alex Howe, who's thrown it to third.
Is that going to go down in the books as a 1-2-3 out?
I don't know. So I'm going to try and explain this for our listeners at home, because I'm trying to get better at explaining the situation.
This is a good one to have a go at. Yeah.
David Canless has hit that straight back to the pitcher's mound at about 1,000,000 miles an hour. Pitcher Craig Anderson has jumped and turned in the air to try and get out of the way of the ball. And the ball has come off the bottom of his shoes and gone straight back to the catcher, Alex Hall, who has then fired to the first baseman for the out.
It was almost as though it was a soccer play from Anderson.
It was a
beautiful back heel.
It was a back heel.
And that's why I was asking. Do you reckon it'll go down as a 1-2, as a 1 to 2 to 3?
I have given up trying to guess how they're going to score.
No. The unusual stuff we've seen across the course of this season is, yeah. Well, I keep saying it about baseball. It's one of the great things about the game is that we don't, you never know what you're going to get. And most of the time, it might only be something small, but almost every game you come to, you'll see something you haven't seen at a baseball game previously. We move at quite some speed into the 6th.
I'll tell you the one thing I have seen here at this ballpark this year, Chris Coleman, is a lot of comebackers at pitches. Both sides.
There's been more this year than, again, I think so, yeah.
Frank Gailey a few weeks ago needed to go and see a panel beater. He'd been hit that badly.
Yep. And it has officially been scored as a 1-2-3. David Candless grounds out pitcher John Anderson to catcher Alex Hall to first baseman Sam Kennelly.
Lott delivers. Popped foul and off the roof of the away side dugout by the DH Chris Clare.
So no change to the resumptive score. We restarted after 2.5 innings with a 2-0 score. We've had 2.5 innings and we've still got a 2-0 score. Perth looking to add to it in the top of the 6th, and a good piece from Clare. Sends it out to centre field. Krause off the second bounce picks it up, but an easy single to Chris Clare, and he is the first lead-off man to make it on base for Perth in this game.
It's been a long drought over 2 days. Pete Cosma. He steps in to face Lott. Lott now working from the stretch. He delivers. Cosma has gotten underneath one, but Kyle Perkins in left field. He's back and underneath it. He takes the catch. Probably 10 yards inside the fence. But the wind is blowing straight across from the right field fair pole all the way across to the left field fair pole. It seems to be holding up a lot in the breeze.
There'll be plenty of that this afternoon.
Lott doing very well with his opportunity here. He's into his 3rd inning of work. Clare is the runner at first. From the stretch delivers, and that was a pitch out. They thought Clare was going. He held back. You can tell it was a pitch out because Robbie Perkins was around. He was up and around, and he got the glove there before the ball had even arrived. Ball 1. Chris Clare has got a very good lead at first base. Good enough to jump. Fouled back along the third base side by the left-handed hitter Tristan Gray.
Well, Lott being the right-hander, Clare can take that extra half a yard.
Oh, easily.
And potentially even more than that.
Easily. From the stretch delivers. He has ripped that. That's fair into right field. Canless field. He was in very quickly. Gray holds up at second. So now, with 1 out, Perth threatening. They've got runners at first and second. Clare is the man at second. Tristan Gray at first.
Gray 2 hits from 3 at-bats in this game. So he's got the single and he's got the home run.
And both men on base have got 2 hits in this game, and they're the 2 people that cross the plate to give Perth this 2-0 lead. Robbie Glendenning, he steps in. He has fouled that back over our commentary position. On 1. In my small time pitching, Chris Coleman, I never liked pitching from the stretch. It was just something I could never get used to.
So you're more of a full routine man?
Oh, yeah. That ball's in the dirt. Perkins has done well to block it, but it hasn't stopped both runners from advancing. So now Chris Clare, he moves to third. Tristan Gray is the runner at second. It is 1-1. One out here, top of the sixth. Perkins did well. Ball was in the dirt. Got enough of his body on it to deflect it and keep it in his peripheral vision, but it got away from him just enough for the runners to advance. A lot from the stretch. There's that curveball again, Chris Coleman.
Gee, it's nice.
Just hangs high and says, hit me. And then at the last second, it just drops.
Yeah, just as you go to hit it, it ain't there anymore.
One and two. That's just high heat. Tried to climb the ladder. 2 and 2. He's put the curveball up. Kraus late on it. Kraus very late on it. That's going to drop and bounce in. Clare scores from third. Gray into second. But Robbie Glendenning gets a double, so run scores. I don't know whether it was the sun or the wind, Chris Coleman. But Michael Kraus just seemed to be very late on that one with his initial movement.
I can't tell you what happened there. I just think he lost sight of it, which is interesting because it's a glorious seeing day here. There's a few little clouds around, but
well, it was to his right,
bright
so
sunshine. Yeah,
it was to his right, so he'd be looking into the setting sun, towards the setting sun.
He may have lost it in the sun. May have been unsighted too, because there was a runner at second. Massey was a little bit further over at shortstop. The pitcher was there. The umpire was there. So it may just have been that he didn't see it off the bat because of the amount of traffic in there as well.
Exactly. 1-0 is the count to Chester. Lot from the stretch delivers.
And you mentioned the wind as well, which has picked up a little bit more, and the flags hanging, they're not even dropping. They are staying permanently horizontal, blowing across from right field to left field. So again, compounding the issue for Kraus, that ball being pushed away from him as he was running across to his right, of course being the right hander, the glove on his left hand.
Tried for that breaking pitch, but unfortunately just too high and inside. It is a big weekend for Snake Gully, Shane, I can tell you that. You could probably, have training balls for 2 seasons if you went down there and were brave enough. Lot delivers, and that's high ball 4. 4 straight balls, loads the bases.
Catcher Robbie Perkins goes out for a chat with Jason Lott now. 1 out, bases loaded. This will be, well, just give Alex Hall something that he can put as a grounder over to Massey or Francoso. We'll get the double play and we'll sort it all out. Brian Grenning coming out for a conversation as well with Lott.
There's action in the Canberra pen, Chris.
Oh, there would be. Lott's not never going to be, or not at this stage, going to be a guy who can throw a lot of innings. He had bone spurs in the lead up or off last season, so he's had surgery to repair those, and so there is a recuperation side of things that he needs to factor in. So you won't see him throwing a long time, and indeed Brian Grenning may have come out and said, okay, Jason, you've shown good stuff through your first 2 innings. You've given up 1 run here. Let's keep it at that. Let's wrap this up, and then you're done for the day. And you can come and take a well-earned seat in the dugout for the rest of the afternoon and of the evening for our second game today, as we see Alex Hall pop one up.
That was literally a bullet down the right field line, just out of the reach of Zach Wilson. 1, 2, 3 runners score. So there you go. That is a bases clearing double down the right field line for Alex Hall.
Well, if you're going to put it anywhere in this ballpark with the bases loaded, that right field corner is a good place to send it to, because it's a long way from home, and it's usually a fairly decent chase, especially on a day like today where the wind is blowing the ball in, so the right fielder will be in a little bit further. So smart baseball from Alex Hall, and suddenly this game blown wide open in the top of the 6th. It is 6-0 to Perth. and only one out with one on.
Literally just a line drive, just straight above first baseman Zach Wilson's head, and then down the line into the corner. And here we go. Sam Kennelly. Foul down the first base line. He hit that ball hard. Lott. He's working from the stretch. Alex Hall. He's the man at second. There's the breaking ball. He's dropped that one in there. 0-2. There is still action in the Canberra pen. Interesting as well. Got to preserve what you can because there's a second game this evening. Lott delivers from the stretch, and that's high. Ball one. Lott taking a bit of time. Gets the signal he likes. Delivers straight past Sam Kennelly, who was swinging at that one. That's his first strikeout for the afternoon.
Now back is the left fielder, number 25.
2 down.
His first strikeout for the afternoon, his second strikeout for the game.
Oh yes, Alex Hall's second strikeout for the game because he struck out to Steve Kent.
No, Kennelly's second strikeout.
Yeah, but I was saying it's Lott's first
Oh,
strikeout.
Lots. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Kennelly.
No.
See, this is what happens when you get a game finish, a game stop, and then restart 2 days later, and it's massive confusion.
That's okay. Ulrich Bojarski, he steps in and he fouls the first one off. 1 for 2. He had a fly out on Thursday night and then had a single to centre field in the last inning. Perth with 4 runs on the board in this inning. Bojarski, foul, chasing the pitch low and outside, managed to get around on it and pull it foul down the third base line.
Tim Kennelly down there having a chat with the cavalry bat boy.
Shows you the class of some people, Chris Gelman.
I reckon he's sitting there.
Bojarski chases the pitch low and outside, gets enough on it, but hits it straight to the centre fielder, Michael Krause. So that's the third out, but not before Perth put 4 on the board. Midway through 6 here at MIT Ballpark, they lead now 6-0.
Put up a 6 spot, a 4 spot rather. It makes it very difficult for the chasing side in there. Should give a quick mention to our good friends at Fielder's Choice. Fielder's Choice committed to providing a national service to everyone who loves T-ball, baseball, softball, any of your diamond sports. And not only do they provide a national service, they provide the highest levels of customer service and expert advice from T-ballers right through to professionals. And I've seen plenty of pros in at Fielder's Choice stores over the years too. And greetings to all the Fielder's Choice team right across Australia, and thank you for your support of Cavalry Live across 2018-19. Fielder's Choice stores, they are all over the place and also right here in the ACT in Hawker. In fact, you can visit them online if you are not near one of them. Find out more, go to www.fielders.net. That's www.fielders.net. We are in the middle of the 6th inning and it's been all Perth in this one. They scored 2 in the first, back on Thursday night, and 4 in the 6th here this afternoon. Canberra yet to trouble the scorers with anything other than zeros. This game will go to its regularly scheduled 9 innings. The second game this evening, which will now start in 2 hours and 6 minutes, is due to go to a 7-inning game. So the second game being shortened by 2 innings as per ABL rules when rainouts and recommencements take place. So we have 3.5 innings left in this one potentially, and then 7 innings of baseball to come in a second game this evening. Audio coverage again tonight, but for the big end of season finale, the 11 a.m. start tomorrow, we will have the camera crews out at sunup tomorrow, setting things up to bring it all to you as the final ABL regular season game unfolds. We'll be the only show in town, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of people watching to see what impact that game has on the post-season seedings. As we move to the bottom of the 6th, and it's Craig Massey, Zach Wilson and Michael Krause. And still out there, the man who may well wind up with targets on him by the end of the afternoon, John Anderson on the bump. Into the wind-up. The pitch is on the inside. Massey almost treats it with disdain. Didn't move a muscle, didn't flex at all. That onto the glove of Alex Howe on the inside. Massey skips back on a pitch that's further on the inside. The left-handed batter. Skipping out of the way, 1-1. And that's a fast ball. Bottom edge of the zone. Maybe out of third. 1-2. Hayden Beard in commentary with me on the Thursday night before we got the rain out said Anderson reminded him very much of Paul Mildren from years gone by. And I'm inclined to agree. Actually went and dug out some old footage of Mildren and checked it out, and there's a lot of similarity between the two of them. 2-2. Foul ball, third base side from Massey. Count stays at 2-2. It's not panic stations yet for the Cavalry, but they will want to start showing some form, some better form with the bat and getting some scoring going. 6 hits they've had. 8 hits for Perth.
Here's another ball.
It was high. Actually swayed back just a little out of the way of it. So here's a full count here. Perth would love it if they could get through this game without using anyone but Anderson this afternoon. The foul ball away into the safety netting, third base side from Craig Massey. It'll be great for Perth if they can get away with only Anderson throwing for them through this game. If they can get away with that, it'll mean that their bullpen, they can really use it, stretch it out, and go for situational matchups across the remaining 2 games. Still the full count. Foul ball off the bottom of the bat. Goes underneath the catcher's shins, past the umpire, and is retrieved by the bat boy at the safety net. Still a full count, 3-2.
And just as you say that, Chris Coleman, there is people up throwing in the Perth bullpen. They're in the same boat, Perth, now with a 6-0 lead. Fouled again.
Don't have to get a lot on it. It gets just enough, just a whisper.
With a 6-0 lead, turn it over to the bullpen. Let them do the job, clinch the Southwest Division title. Rest Anderson for next week as he delivers. Foul tip into the glove of Alex Hall. He's doing everything today.
Given how hot the Cavalry offense has been in the past few weeks, really weird to sit here and look at this scorecard this afternoon, or across Thursday night and this afternoon, bereft of runs. No runs at all. 1 out, bottom 6.
It's high and outside to Wilson.
So Wilson now with 1-0. That's a towering fly ball. It's a long way back. Tim Kennelly's backing, gets to the warning track, and then actually, as you see it come down, did you see that curve on the way down as it came back into the wind, which is a lot stronger, interestingly, at lower level than at high level here. It took a very nasty curve away from Tim Kennelly.
Kennelly had to take 3 or 4 steps in at the last second just to claim that. He was back near the warning track. As we said, the wind is blowing very heavily towards the left field foul pole. So Wilson has hit it directly into the wind.
Was it
2 down here. Krause He's popped up first base side, over the fence, and through the bleachers.
That wasn't over the fence by much. Sam Kennelly was never really going to get there, and I think even if he'd got to the fence, it still would have been out of his reach. But don't see a lot of those fences here, people reaching out over the fence to take catches. Adelaide have taken a lead against Sydney.
0-1. 0-2. Breaking pitch in there from Anderson. Just coming in from the stretch. He delivers Krause along the ground. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Glenn Denning not even breaking stride. He was going at a full sprint, timed it to perfection, just pops the glove down, picks the ball up, and without stopping, makes the transfer at full speed, slings it across to Sam Kennelly, and once again, it's 3 up, 3 down, and if I'm not mistaken, that's 7 Cavalry been in a row who've been sat down. It is indeed. The last 7 that they've sent up have been sent straight back down. Perth very much on fire in this game. 6 innings in the books, and they have 6 runs on the board. The home side still on 0, 6-0 here at MOT Ballpark in this conclusion or continuation of Game 1 of the Round 10 ABL series between Canberra and Perth. For Perth, we're back up to the top of the order. Tim Kennelly, Chris Clare, and Pete Cosma. I was saying about Tim Kennelly before Ulrich Boyarski had that fly out in the 6th inning. And so while he was up in the on-deck circle, he was having a chat with the bat boy, and I think he was actually telling the bat boy about what John Anderson was throwing. Oh, not John Anderson, what Jason Lott was throwing. I think he was actually talking to the bat boy about each pitch as it was being thrown. He was having the look, as you do when you're in the on-deck circle. And then he was turning to the bat boy and talking to him for a moment. Then he'd go back, look at the picture, and then again. So even in the middle of a game, taking the time to help expand the knowledge of a young junior player. Great stuff. And Adelaide tacked on another one. They're now 3-0 up.
What we need to hear as a Cavalry person, but Josh Warner, another one of these young pitchers that the Cavalry have. He's the man out of the pen. There's Lott. He threw 3 innings.
I won't say he's on the comeback trail, but certainly hasn't played a lot of ABL baseball, or as much ABL baseball as he would like. Josh Warner.
What was he coming back from, Chris?
Coming back to a new club more than anything else.
Oh,
former Brisbane player.
Had a bit of a break from baseball.
I'll give you some numbers for Jason Lott. 3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all of which were earned. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. So Josh Warner in there, now in his mid-20s at 26 years of age. Hasn't had a lot of game time for the Cavalry. He only pitched in about 5 games so far. 11 innings altogether, 14 hits across the season. ERA of 10.03, but really he's come in some pretty tricky situations. I think he started a couple of games early in the season prior to the arrival of Shota Imanaga. Gets Kennelly swinging on the first pitch. Tim Kennelly, that is. 0-1. Just take us through. Describe the pitching mechanics of Josh Warner.
Warner's made a liar out of me, as that's ball 1 high. He is one of the few pitches that is actually coming with a full wind-up. So it's not a big stretchy wind-up. It's pretty close, as Kennelly has launched that one a mile foul down the third base line. But he's coming from a full wind-up. Right on the edge of the rubber.
All told, by the way, Lott threw 39 pitches, 29 of those for strikes. 1 strikeout, 4 groundouts and 4 flyouts.
He delivers. And he has struck Tim Kennelly out looking.
Oh, you'd take that any day of the week.
That was just a beautiful fastball at the knees.
Brings us to Chris Clare. He's 2 for 3 in this game.
Clare now, he's in. Warner still working with the full wind-up. That's a little high and inside. Ball 1. It's not a, as you see with a lot of starting pitches nowadays, Chris, it's a wind-up, but it's a shorter wind-up. The steps are not as big, closer together, till he makes that final lunge. And that's just a beautiful fastball, straight past the bat of Chris Clare. As he swings through that one, count as 1-1. Once again, Warner. Chris Clare has gotten all of that one, but has just swung to the left of the left field foul pole. That's a very long strike too.
It is, and that one, someone not even in the ground yet has picked up a souvenir ball on their way into the ballpark.
That's what we're all about. It's about the fan experience here. You can even get a ball walking into the left field gate. Warner, and that was very low and outside.
It's about a 52-footer, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, that would just be a very step back across the off stump and then drive it through point. Or second base, if you prefer.
I was going to say, you've now got anyone American saying, what on earth is he talking about?
Yeah, he's fouled another one back to Snake Gully. There's another one for the Was baseball practice ball collection. Maybe I might get down there tomorrow, see what it's all about.
Good luck. It's been nice knowing you.
Count is 2-2.
We are not kidding about the venomous snakes that live over there.
Oh. That's all right. Warner, low and outside, ball 3. That's okay. I'll just tuck my jeans into my socks. I'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
You're wearing thongs.
I am today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
I've got my dress Reebok pumps as Warner delivers high and inside. Tried to catch that corner, just missed. He walks Chris Clare.
Well, here's a test for Josh Warner.
Cosma, who has an invitation next season to Detroit Tigers spring training. He hit .217 with 1 home run and 8 RBIs last major league season for the Tigers, after playing AAA most of the year for the Toledo Mudhens. He takes a cold strike 1 from Warner. Now working from the stretch, tall man. Tall man. Clare, once again, same as last time. Very good lead at first base. Warner from the stretch delivers. And that's low. Ball 1, 1-1. Clare again. That's low and outside. Ball 2. These are the outs you want though, Chris. These guys, major league experience.
Absolutely. Fouled away, 2-2 remains the count.
I'm hearing a conversation through our effects mic where someone is explaining to someone else about how the game works, so we must have a couple of first timers in the crowd.
I think we may do.
He's got to hit it, and as long as he doesn't get caught out, or it could be over the fence for a home run.
I'm just wondering, that last one from Cosma, he hit it straight down and then it went foul. I'm just wondering whether it may have actually clipped his toe there, because he was allowed a moment or two to walk out of the batter's box. Just enough to clip, just to be annoying. No injury, but just enough there.
Sorry, Chris. 2-2 the count to Cosma. Clare at first. Warner outside again. Ball in the dirt. Perkins does very well to backhand that. Keep it in the mitt. Count is full. Pete Cosma. He's the man. 3 and 2, Warner. Does a quick turnaround step. Had a look at Claire. Claire diving back. Just wanted to get his uniform dirty, I think. Warner didn't even throw. Count is full. Warner from the stretch. Claire goes. Cosmo lines this straight to centre field to Michael Krause. Single to him. Chris Clare. Full count, and
he was going. He was moving, yeah.
He was going even. He was 2/3 of the way to second before Cosmo had even hit the ball.
Yep.
Unfortunately. I'm having a look at Cosmo. He's looking over. He's got his hand on his left hamstring, and he's looking over at the Perth dugout. Just keep an eye on that for a second, Chris Coleman.
I'll watch him.
He's signalling something to the Perth dugout. One out, 2 on. Warner.
I don't know whether it's the hamstring. I'm just wondering again whether that one that I thought that he hit down and clipped his foot, maybe he's just having a little bit of overall leg discomfort. Maybe it hit him a little harder than I thought.
On one, Warner from the stretch. He's hit that grey, has hit that straight to the right fielder, David Candless. He's had to come in on it, runner tags. Candless fires. Chris Clare thought about it for maybe half a second. And then when Candless has come up firing, he's gone nope and headed straight back to second.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of nope.
Unbelievable. Once again, at the low to the ground, the wind is still holding that ball up in the breeze. It is still blowing quite heavily. Yeah, from right to left, straight across to the left field foul pole. David Candless in right field had to make some adjustments and take that very low while still coming forward.
It's unusual at this ground for there to be this much wind at ground level. The ground is largely ringed by trees.
As Warner delivers to Robbie Glendenning, that is a called strike 1.
So more often than not, what you see at this ballpark is while we might see the flag poles and the flags and the poles flying in the breeze, it'll be the balls that go up above tree height are the ones that are affected. It seems to be the inverse today.
That's outside, ball 1 by Josh Warner.
Where when the ball gets up high, it tends to hold up a little bit, and then as it comes down, it really does get pushed by the wind. It's almost what they call it, wind shear, the stuff that causes planes to crash.
Josh Warner from the stretch delivers.
We'll see this one. It's gone straight up. Krause is coming in. We've got Massey going across at second, and now it goes to Francoso.
No, Francoso's called him off, Chris. That's all that was. He was coming into
but it still came down. It still came across on the way down. That's why Francoso's called him off. But it was initially, when it went up, it was up on the line to Massey, and then it's come down on the line to Francoso. But it was on the way down before it started to turn. Normally here, that ball would go up and it'd get pushed by the wind at higher altitude across. This time it's gone up and then curved on the way down.
Well,
I'm sure there's an economic graph that I could find if I went and dug it on one of my old economics textbooks, but I'm not going there.
Go and get the transverse wind factors happening. It's stretch time here at MIT Ballpark. Perth, they didn't score any runs that inning, but they still lead 6-0.
And I think with the greatest of respect to the singers of the Take Me Out to the Ball Game, we might just drop the level on the effects mic for a few minutes there. What was the name of the group, the a cappella group in The Simpsons, the B Sharps? I think that was the B Flats out there.
I think they were the C Flats, mate.
It was a C flat and a B Sharp's actually the same note. So yeah, the B Flats. Anyway, be that as it may, the Cavalry are running out of time. Basically, we're in the middle of the 7th and it's still 6-0.
And it is still Anderson on the bump for Perth. Obviously,
I think they're going to try and get through as close as they can, get through the rest of the game with him.
Well, you would, as you said, second game tonight, game tomorrow, spare your bullpen. Canberra bats have...
See, they can even afford, not that they'll want to, but they can even afford for him to give up another run or two here.
Oh, of course.
And I don't know where he'd fit into the scheme of things in terms of being able to pitch again on Wednesday, having thrown half a game on Thursday and half a game here.
But I think, Chris, that Perth are going for it. Is with the calculations and the losses by Melbourne to the Tuatara last night. Perth win this game, they will be Southwest Division champions.
Oh no, they won't lock it up. I think Melbourne's still got 2 more games to play, but it'll put Perth on top.
But what's the win-loss for both teams? Because I think Perth holds the series over Melbourne. They hold the tiebreaker. As Robbie
Phil, I know you're listening. Phil over in Adelaide, you're not calling a game now, so mate, get the crayons out, start scribbling.
Robbie Perkins steps in and he takes a called strike 1 on the outside from John Anderson. Too many pitchers named Anderson in this league. I get confused, Chris.
You've got Andersons, you've got Perkinses, you've got Kennellys. You've got plenty.
1-1. Anderson from the stretch. He delivers. Perkins has caught this off the end of the bat. First base side foul. Kennelly heading back and he will get there and crash into the fence. But he takes an amazing catch to retire Robbie Perkins.
And again, you saw that on the way down. That came back into him on the way down.
Indeed it did.
They don't do that normally in this ballpark. So it's playing like a completely different ballpark to what we normally get here in Canberra.
Oh, there we go. Melbourne holds series over Perth. Hold the tiebreaker. Thanks, Phil.
There you go. So Perth would need to keep winning. So they won't wrap it up today, but they'll go to the lead in the race today if they win this one. Which you'd have to say in the bottom of the 7th with a 6-run lead and Canberra with 1 out, they are in the box seat to do. Anderson pitches to Kyle Perkins. And Perkins
is quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, the lightest of foul tips on the second one. 0-2.
Kyle Perkins. He's 1 for 1. He had a walk in his last at bat. He hits it straight to the third baseman on the hop. Glenn Dinning fires over to first. Sam Kennelly went one way, then the other. Still managed to get the put out.
And the last 9 Cavalry batters have not made it to first base.
Well, D.H. Madison Youngana, he's out. As you can hear the familiar strains of I'm Bossy, that means the big man, Boss Monaroa, has come into the game as a designated hitter. He'll pinch hit for Youngana.
Boss went yard last night. And when I say he went yard last night, it was yard. They had the shift on, Perth. Had the shift on. They'd moved everyone across around towards right field. And Boss said, well, there's 2 ways to get past the shift. One is to hit it into the vacant spaces of left field. The other is to hit it 80 feet over the head of everyone in right field. And that's what he did. It was a mammoth hit, and it landed somewhere down on the second diamond here at Narrabundah.
Well, Anderson from the stretch to Monaroa. And he has launched this into right field. Back to the fence goes Kennelly, and he takes it. In that wind again. He's doing the job here.
Well, he hit it the same place last night, but a little bit higher, a little bit harder, and without so much wind into his face. But a great take by Kennelly. Gee, the Kennellys have taken some good catches at this park this weekend, but also over the years they've done plenty. But 7 innings in the books, 6 runs the difference. It's one of my favourite points in baseball when you're looking at a side that is on the chase. When you've got fewer outs left than runs you're chasing, you're in trouble. And Canberra about to reach that point with 6 runs left, or 6 runs on the chase and 6 outs remaining. For Perth, it'll be Carl Chester, Alex Hall and Sam Kennelly.
And it is Josh Warner back on the mound for the Cavalry.
I think Josh will be finishing this one off, barring a super long inning here, or the Cavalry putting up 5 or 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th. I think it'll be Josh Warner to finish it off here. Again, Canberra will be looking to save pitches for Game 3 now and for Game 4. They won't be wanting to burn anyone unnecessarily this afternoon. Warner will be done for the day for the weekend, most likely. So it'll be throw a few more out there. Try and get 3 scoreless innings out of him.
I like that you said try.
Well, I could have gone down the Yoda path and said there is no try, only do, but...
Do or do not.
Exactly.
As well, we are now into the 100-minute threshold. 100 minutes until first pitch of the next game.
We are.
Is there a minimum time? So if this went on, say, till, 6:40, is there a minimum break between games?
We usually try and have half an hour between games in the ABL. At a minimum.
Carl Chester, he steps in. He is 0 for 2 with a walk as Warner comes from the full winder. And he's got a strike right in there on the high part of the plate. Right at the belt. Riley Barrington liked that one. Warner again from the wind-up. And Chester has hit that down the left field line. That has cleared the fence and is heading towards the gates. Maybe someone else will get a souvenir on their way into the park.
Won't be picked up by anyone on the way in, but there are 3 children in a massive foot race out of the gates to get their pass out and try and get that one.
And that one was low and in the dirt outside.
I'm backing the kid in the little green bucket hat to get that one. He was the first one to the gate. Don't think they'll overhaul him. 1 and 2 the count.
Give me a stamp. Give me a stamp. Go, 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 go. It's like a pit crew at Formula 1. 1 and 2 is the count. And that breaking pitch must have just missed from Warner. Must have been inside. Broke around the plate. Count is 2 and 2. There's Josh Warner working from the wind-up. Delivers. He's hit that along the third base line. Carl Chester foul. Count remains at 2 and 2. Top of the 8th here at MIT Ballpark. Warner, very high and inside. Ooh. Count is full to Carl Chester. Catcher Alex Hall on deck, and didn't he blow this game wide open in the 6th with a bases clearing double to right field. As Chester fouls one back to the screen, the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. As home plate umpire Riley Barrington takes a step away for a second to reload. And that's a walk to Carl Chester.
That's a walk to Carl Chester.
It's a game that's starting to just sort of almost become baseball by the numbers, isn't it?
Unfortunately, not in our favour. Canberra Cavalry trailing 6-0 here to the Perth Heat. Now from the stretch, Warner delivers. And that's high and outside to the left-handed Alex Hall.
Warner really doesn't seem to be able to get his direction sorted today.
Outside again.
I understand that you don't really want to give a batter, too much. It's too similar between pitches, but just doesn't seem to be able to find the zone on a consistent basis here. Got Kennelly struck out looking, but since then it's been high and outside, high and inside, low and away, low and inside that ball. 3-0 the count.
These last 9 pitches: ball, ball, foul, ball, foul, ball, 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 ball.
Yeah, it's one thing to be painting the corners of the kitchen. It's the other thing to be spraying the paint everywhere.
As he gets a called strike down the middle on Alex Hall.
And sometimes you've just got to take the chance and do that.
Well, at 3-0, there's not many hitters in that league that have a green light to pull the trigger. They might as well. 3-1 is the count. Now it is 3-2 as Hall has fouled that back to the screen. And there's a good comeback.
There is a good comeback. Back the fast ball. The fast ball on the middle, bottom third. 2 in a row.
Count is full here to Alex Hall.
Double play, a possibility coming up.
Warner from the stretch delivers. And that is high and inside and ball full. And now here comes Brian Grenning, which means as I look over, there is people warming up in the Cavalry bullpen.
This won't be what the Cavalry want. They really will want Josh Warner to finish this one off. Just see if I can find out who's up.
Brian Grenning, of course.
I saw Zach Lamond up for a second, but he's sat down again. Zach won't throw in this.
Pitching coach for the Cavalry. Cavalry great earlier this season. Had his number retired. His 41 retired. The first number to be retired by the Cavs organisation. So now runs around in 14. Not even he wants to wear his own retired number.
So can you do that if your number's retired as a player but you're still coaching? Can you wear your own retired number?
I think you can because it's retired to
it's
you.
your number. Is there a...
It'd be an interesting conversation to have between pitchers, Chris. Some of the people from other clubs that you think would be the first to have their number retired from some of the teams. I'll let you have a think.
I wouldn't even want to take a stab at it for Perth. Oh. I really wouldn't even want to try.
From the stretch, Warner delivers. That's high and inside. Ball 1 to Sam Kennelly.
Seriously, they've had so many great players come through at Perth. Brisbane likewise in the last few years. Who would you go for? There's so many.
Well, there's Warner. The beautiful breaking pitch, 1-1. I think at Perth, in my limited experience, you're not looking much further past 23 in my books.
Well, Tim Kennelly would be a good starting point. I don't think too many people would argue.
That's what I mean. He would be the first. Well, I mean,
now that Luke Hughes is playing for Melbourne and Alan D. San Miguel moved to Melbourne a couple of years ago, it probably narrows out the field a little bit.
I'm not saying that maybe potentially their numbers as Warner delivers and foul down the third baseline by Sam Kennelly. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think now, with D. San and Luke Hughes at Melbourne, I think that puts Tim Kennelly at the front of the pack. For now. Brisbane as well, you've got multiple players with multiple championships.
Way too many.
Count is 1 and 2. Warner from the stretch. Low and outside to the right-handed Sam Kennelly. Ball 2. Is low, and the count is full on Sam Kennelly. What about Sydney?
I think we can hold off on Sydney, although Ando would be right up there.
Ando as well. Pitched a shutout in his last regular season game. Count is full to Sam Kennelly. Warner delivers. Kennelly has hit that high and foul deep down the third base side. Count remains the same.